Okay. Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to yet another video, folks. Today we are predicting the Premier League of Darts 2025 live in Birmingham tomorrow. Night 13 of the Darts, but who will qualify for the O2? There are a few players. We saw Gerwyn Price beat Luke Humphries in Liverpool last Thursday on the MAS Banks Arena in Liverpool, but they meet tonight for the third match in a row. But we've got Luke Littler versus Stephen Bunting, Nathan Aspinall, Chris Dobie, and Rob Cross versus Michael Van Gerwen. Right, but before you get into the YouTube, before we get into you folks, please leave your comments below, hit the subscribe button, like and thumbs up. And give us a thumbs up, and it's free to do. Right, first match up, Luke Littler versus Stephen Bunting. Both players were quarter-final losers in Liverpool last week, but that was far from more damaging for Stephen Bunting than it was for Luke Littler. So, having not won a Premier League night since night 8 in Newcastle, Luke Littler is experiencing something of a drought by considerable standards, but he remains top of the table with a 4-point gap over his nearest rival Luke Humphries. The world champion lost a close contest to Michael Van Gerwen at the quarter-final stage last week, but he has still recorded more nightly wins than any other competitors, but although not mathematically ruled out of the playoffs, but it's fair to say that Stephen Bunting's race is probably run when it comes to his top 4 aspirations. The Bullet delivered a meek performance in front of his home crowd in Liverpool last week, but losing 6-1 to Rob Cross at the first hurdle, but also lost his opener at the Austrian Darts Open over the weekend, losing out to Matt Campbell. Littler hasn't been at his sparkling best in recent weeks, but just know another huge average is just around the corner. He's expecting to win this battle, top versus bottom, fairly comfortably. I'm going for Littler to win 6 legs to 3. Right. Game number 2. Nathan Aspinall versus Chris Dobie. Chris Dobie needs a big night in Birmingham to reignite his playoff chances, especially as he faces one of the direct rivals in the quarterfinals, Nathan Aspinall. Heading into night 13, Nathan Aspinall is hanging on the 4th playoff spot on leg difference and ahead of Michael Van Gerwen as the race to the O2 heats up. The Ass has performed well in Liverpool last week, averaging 104 against Humphries, but he was denied by 113 average from the world number 1. Stockport thrower entered the Austrian Darts Open over the weekend, but lost his opener to Kevin Dutz. Chris Dobie fared a little better in Graz, losing out to eventual champion Martin Schindler in the quarterfinals, but he still has a lot of work to do in order to make it into the top 4 in the Premier League. But this is a difficult one to call, but it is the third meeting between the two in this year's tournament, and with both boosting a win apiece, this could easily go either way. Expecting a close battle that will go the distance by 9.5 legs, but I'm going for Aspinall. I'm going for Chris Dobie to win 6 legs to 4. And then third match up, a repeat of the Liverpool final, Luke Humphries versus Gerwyn Price. Just a week after they did battle in night 12 final in Liverpool, Luke Humphries and Gerwyn Price meets once more as the Premier League visits Birmingham. It was another final for Luke Humphries in Liverpool last week, and the world number 1 may even have his sights set on top spot, given that he's now only 4 points behind Luke Littler. Humphries lost to Gerwyn Price 6-4 in last week's final, but the fixture calendar has offered him immediate opportunity to avenge that defeat. In going all the way in Liverpool, Price has now overtaken Humphries when it comes to nightly wins in this year, but he has put himself in strong position to qualify for the playoffs. This is the fifth contest between the two in the Premier League 2025, with head-to-head score currently standing at 2-2, but fueled by his final defeat in Liverpool, though. But we are backing top spot, chasing Humphreys to raise his game and edge into the last four. I'm going for Humphreys to win 6-5. I think it's going to be close. That's for sure. Right. And then the final game, Rob Cross versus Michael Van Gerwen. Two former world champions lock horns in Birmingham as the playoff contenders Rob Cross and Michael Van Gerwen finished off the night's quarter-finals. Rob Cross ended his 3-game losing streak in the Premier League by defeating home crowd favourite Stephen Bunting in one of the last week's quarter-finals, but then lost to Gerwin Price in the last 4, leaving him 3 points adrift of the playoff places heading into Birmingham. Voltage is still yet to reach a final in the 2025 Premier League. He will likely need to break that duck soon if he is to break into the top 4. Michael Van Gerwen has been another phenomenal semi-finalist in this year's event, but he was also bow out in the last 4 in Liverpool, firstly defeating Luke Littler before a 6-4 loss to Luke Humphreys. The Dutchman is very much in the playoff mix, and he has been playing some better darts of the M2 recently, so we are backing him to come through in this quarter-final in what is only the second meeting between the pair in this year's event. I'm going Van Gerwen to win 6-4. That's my predictions then for night 13 of the 2025 Premier League of Darts in Birmingham. Leave on your comments below, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye. Peace out.